I often cite Deafheaven as like the perfect trajectory for a band. Now, check this out. So we have Sunbather, right? The explosive debut that introduces you to the world. And then we have New Bermuda, which in my opinion is like a refinement of Sunbather. It's tighter, it's more concise. It doesn't change direction too much. And it lets us know, it lets everybody know that we mean business. Then we move on to Ordinary Corrupt Human Love, which is still heavy, but we're introducing a lot more rock and different melodic elements, right? And this sets the stage to really do something different. And then we have Infinite Granite. So how much thought and discussion goes into it when you're moving into the next album cycle, and or are you just writing and that's what comes out next naturally, or is it both? Like, I'm interested to hear your perspective.
Yeah. It's firstly a great synopsis. I appreciate it. When we write albums, they happen at the same time. Typically what happens is the first thing that's written sounds very similar to our last record. And we kind of shake that off, and then the subsequent 2 to 3 songs will really determine where things are kind of going, like the skeleton. And then we'll usually have like a conversation that's pretty like agreeable, that everyone already knows is coming, but it's just good to verbalize it. Say like with New Bermuda, it'd be like, after like a couple of the songs written, you're like, man, hey, for this next song, we should just do like full dissection. Like, what do you think? And then the room is like, great, yeah, because that's what we're going for, and blah, 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 and like, you're like, okay, cool. We're all on the same page here. Like let's, now that we have a couple of these songs written, let's make this a blackened death metal record, at least our version of it. Because that's what we're all feeling. And so that's sort of the MO now. And we're not always going to draw inside the lines, but generally that's kind of the mode. And with Infinite Granite, we had written Lament for Wasps, which to me is the most sort of ordinary like song. It was the first song written, and then we wrote Villain. And then I think I want to say that we wrote Shellstar, the opening song, as like track 3. So by the time that happens, now it's like, okay, this is very clearly going in a direction that I don't know if harsh vocals are going to complement this, because that's ultimately the biggest question for this record, right? Is like, what will the vocals sound like? And if we had said early on, no, we're going to keep the black metal stuff, or the, however you want to call what I do, the shrieking, if we're going to keep that largely, I'm sure that the songs probably would have developed in a different way. But after those first couple songs, we were like, let's have an honest conversation. This is what I've been listening to. This is why these things are coming out this way. None of us are saying no to this. This is ticking a box that we haven't ticked before. And I'm finding that our songwriting is growing in ways I didn't imagine that they would, all these kind of things. So what are we going to do here? Clearly we know that making a decision this dramatic is going to ruffle feathers. It's going to, even thinking about like in practical matters, like this could hurt sales. This could diminish tours. This could, like, you've just been nominated for a Grammy making this type of music, and now you're going to do this.
Right.
And those things all get talked about. And then what ultimately gets said is like, what are we here for? Deafheaven's always been a reflection of where we're at this time in our lives. And like, honestly, if we had done Sunbather Part 2, 3, and 4, we might be in, 3,000 cap rooms or something, if we had just kind of built this idea. But instead, we're people that kind of pursue the heart, for better or worse. And that's what this was. This is clearly what we want to do. We're going to make the decision to do it. I'm going to sing, and we are going to expand our sound in a different way and see what happens.